Back to Writing in Jorvik, and today we're going to be talking about removing the stick in Star Stable's gameplay. So what does that exactly mean, removing the stick? Well, to explain, recently I had the privilege of talking to one of the Star Stable devs. If you haven't been watching the Lucky Six, we had them on even, and we got to talk a lot about what we like about Star Stable and things we think that would make the game better. And so one of the things we talked about was adding more incentive to the game. And the thing that I really liked this quote from the dev was that she said, Star Stable right now has a lot of content that's a stick, and we need more content that's like a carrot. To explain, let's look at the daily care system as it is right now. Right now, if you miss a day of daily care, you are immediately punished by having a slower horse and worse stats, which de-incentivizes you from playing the game, from competing in competitions, from running for daily trials, from competing in championships, and so on and so forth, which de-incentivizes you from getting on in general. Meanwhile, a carrot-based system would encourage you to log on every day and give you a reward for doing so, and right now there's not a lot of that in Star Stable. So here are a few basic suggestions of how that could change and what it could look like in the game. To do this, I don't really want to go into massive systems like crafting or a housing system. We can do videos about that later, but right now those would require huge overhauls and a lot of time that I don't think Star Stable has. So I want to do some suggestions that they can do right now without a lot of coding or complications, so these suggestions could be relatively easy to fix. The first thing I want to do is actually address daily care and how we do daily care right now. I think a really easy fix for this is just to change how often the mood drops from, where it drops down from one smiley face level to the next every week instead of every day. This will be a lot better, particularly for a lot of kids who can only play on the weekends, as well as a lot of people who work who can only play on weekends as well when they're not working or on their days off, because otherwise it feels like you have to pay a lot for stable care, and so I think slowing this down makes it a lot more accessible and a lot easier to play, as well as less punishing for missing a day or two. The second suggestion I want to give is changing daily race rewards. Right now it takes less than 4 days to max train a horse, but I still see a lot of people who are really reluctant to get in on and play every day because they feel like if they miss a day, then it's going to be like a grind or they miss time, when really it's just one day. And I think it's a big disincentive to continue playing or continue training your horse after you finish maxing them out. I think a better idea would be after you've completed the daily race reward, you can go back to the high score race board and rerun the race for half the horse XP that you got for running it with the daily. I think this is a great way to give players more control over how quickly they level horses, so potentially you could buy a horse and max level in a day if that's what you wanted to do. And it also makes people feel like they aren't missing days because there's an infinite amount of horse XP that they can get in any given day. The next two suggestions kind of go hand in hand. They're basically two different versions of the same thing. The first one is adding login rewards, where basically every day you log in, you build up towards a higher and higher reward. So the first day you log in, you get 100 shillings, the second day you get 1,000, so on up till maybe after 30 days you get an extra 25 star coins. Nothing too crazy that overrides the allowance, but something that makes it an incentive to get on and play Star Stable every day, because that's a pretty decent reward and a reason to get on and continue playing. The follow-up is to add daily achievement. These are basic things like go do 10 races, go visit the secret location, or go do stable chores at a certain bar. This is a great way to kind of encourage people to get on with special rewards, and potentially for each one getting 1 or 2 star coins could be another way to encourage people to 1, play more often, and 2, play more every day, which is a good incentive to keep people from feeling like playing Star Stable when there's no content is a waste of time. The next addition is to give horse experience for competing in championships. Right now, if you want to compete in championships, you have to have max horse, best skills, and have championships memorized, which makes it really hard for people who are trying to get into championships feel like they have any chance at winning, particularly when you're on a larger server and there are like 10 or 20 so people who have championships on a lockdown. Because of this, a lot of championship based achievements like the nice now do it twice achievement are a lot more difficult to achieve or feel like they are achievable, because it means having to compete against these people who have the courses mastered or looking out for when those people aren't online. Combining this with having championships running all day so there's more opportunities to participate in championships would be a really good way to encourage getting on every day by having more things like events, which championships basically are, popping up on the map to give you more reason to get onto Star Stable every day. And hey, depending on your time zone, maybe you'll have a chance to get that achievement that you wouldn't be able to during when championships currently run. To follow that up, I've already talked about these, there's a whole video dedicated to it, so I'll try not to rehash, but I think events would be great for the game. I don't really think that really big meta events need to be the first ones added. I think really simple ones like run these supplies from this town to this town using the race from point A to point B system would be a really good introduction into the system that can just pop up randomly on 15-minute timers randomly on between a bunch of different locations. Similarly, there could be random pop-up events that combine the Possessed Pumpkins fog ring as well as the collect the flags minigame that are located around Jorvik to say collect a harvest or collect escaped kittens or something of the like, to just give something to do that it's a random chance that you'll get this one day but maybe you won't get it the next. And that just gives a little bit more of intrigue to what's going to happen in Star Stable every day you log on. The next one's a little bit longer, but it's basically boils down to I think Star Stable should change the closed area warning. Right now, if you go into a closed area, and I'm not going to demonstrate it in the video, you'll get a pop-up that says this area is closed. You're going to get banned if you continue to try to do this. I don't think this is really a good idea. I understand the point is to try and de-incentivize people from getting into closed areas, and I think that's fine, but two things. One, I think if Star Stable puts something in the game, much like any other content creator, they run the risk of it being found out. If Star Stable's not prepared for that risk to be found, then they shouldn't be putting it in the game in the first place. Second of all, it de-incentivizes one of the main core gameplay loops in the game, which is antithetical to what they seem to want to do. The three major collections in the game right now are the stars, the spiders, and token pictures. Not to mention all of the cool secret hidden locations all around the map. That means that one of the main loops is exploring the map. Only when you cross into an invisible border, you get a ban strike, which isn't really encouraging for trying to continue to do that. I know for a fact from when I was initially thinking of this topic that a lot of people were really scared that they would get their accounts deleted because they were just trying to explore Star Stable. I understand the idea is that they want to de-incentivize people from going into closed areas and to wait and be excited, but hype and leaks are one of the best ways to build general community excitement, and if you're going to try and de-incentivize that, as well as the chances of bugs being found to improve your game, you're going to find a lot more people either spitefully getting into the areas or too scared to explore and find the secrets in the first place. And neither of those are a really good situation for a game that prides itself in having really good exploration. So for this, I think that the warning should be changed and any risk of ban strikes should be taken away. So instead, it says something along the lines, this area is closed, keep playing the game and keep an eye on the news so that you can eventually unlock it. Next addition is kind of similar to daily races being able to be infinitely repeatable. I think stable chores should also be infinitely repeatable after you complete each set, kind of like how it worked in the original Star Stable CD-ROM games. This is a good way to build up shillings as well as reputation for people who feel like there's some of these that take a really long time to collect, and for the most part for the factions that have stable chores, it's already pretty quick to do these. This wouldn't really affect a lot on gameplay. It would just help balance out reputation grind as it is and give people an easier way to collect shillings to make those feel a little bit more accessible than having to feel like you have to resort to star coins to buy anything useful, which is not a great feeling when you make people feel like they are being extorted for their money. My last suggestion is that now that the global store is out, there should be some reason for shopping at regular stores as they exist. Already with the mall, a lot of stores like those around in Jarlheim have become pretty obsolete, to the point that there are still about half the stalls in the town that are completely empty. And that means Jarlheim looks kind of barren, which for the second largest city on the map is not really a great look. So instead, I think that stores like these should stay in place and all items should be accessible in the global store as well in stores as is. The difference, however, is I think if you go out of your way to go to a store and track down a particular item, you should be able to buy some reputation points with the faction associated to that store. I think this is another easy way to balance reputation because it's a good way to more or less buy your way through the system without completely breaking it. That just gives a little bit more access, as well as you're already getting these rewards for doing it, so here's another reason to keep doing it for easy shillings or star coins if you wanted to buy your way all the way through. I think this also makes sure that stores maintain a purpose in the game without really just breaking or de-incentivizing people using the global store. And that's all the ideas I have for y'all today. I don't know which or any of these would be great for Star Stable. I definitely think one or two of these would give more incentive to logging on to Star Stable every day and just generally playing the game a little bit more. But what do you guys think? Do you have any suggestions on how to increase more incentive for playing Star Stable? If you do, leave them in the comments down below or hop over on the Writers on Jorvik Discord and come share them with folks over there. Looking forward to talking to all of you, and I will see you all next week. Bye! Just wanted to thank you guys again for supporting this show. It's been really cathartic and I think a little bit better for me to describe it like this. I've been really enjoying doing these videos, so thank you guys so much for the support. And yeah, if you ever want to support my channel, myself, or my podcast, go check out my Patreon. All the money pretty much just goes to supporting the podcast right now, but it also gives me a little bit of buffer for making sure that we can do fun giveaways like we do in all the episodes of the podcast. So definitely make sure you go check that out if you want some fun rewards. I might start doing streams of me collecting footage and like the drafts of me recording these available for patrons, but we'll see. With that said, for reals this time, I'll see you all later. Bye!